Another race, another Ferrari meltdown. Ferrari had a lovely little double DNF in Brazil after 7-time World Championship pensioner Lewis Hamilton misplaced his driving glasses and clouted straight into the back of Franco Colapinto's Alpine. While the British driver was trying to start another UK-Argentine bust-up, Charles Leclerc, newly engaged, was at the front of the grid trying to stay out of trouble. Half a second later, he was cleared up by Kimi Antonelli in a fantastic demonstration of the rule: stay out of the way of the f***ing rookie no matter how good a car he is in. Kimi turned in, caught the wheel of Oscar Piastri and clattered straight into the Ferrari, ripping its tyre off. That dropped them down the order to 4th in the championship. Now, unfortunately, that's not massively out of the ordinary. We've seen one or two many weekends where Ferrari decide to shit themselves. Normally, they have a moan in the paddock. Charles Leclerc looks like he's on the verge of tears and then possibly a killing spree. Lewis Hamilton sinks even more into a bottomless pit of despair, then makes a vague comment about keeping on fighting and then says #blessed, and they all go home. Except this time, the man bankrolling the whole operation decided to weigh in and have his say on his two drivers. This man is, of course, Ferrari CEO John Elkann. Now, John Elkann is a serious man. This is the CEO of Ferrari, a proper CEO. Normally you see the letters CEO in the Instagram bio of some 27-year-old BTEC nail technician called Jasmine, and she's turned her garage into a little parlour where she does the best for jazzles for girls with huge lips who plan most days of the week of falling out of a slug and lettuce in Derby into a puddle of their own sick.
Yeah. Listen, I'm like king of banter.
Bold statement.
You like banter?
Yeah, I love banter.
Sick, innit?
Or the worst type of CEO, this who has a podcast in which he invites the like of Neil deGrasse Tyson on to talk about the science of vabbing or something like that. I mean, can we just take a minute to just have a little sidebar as to what a tit Stephen Bartlett is? Never mind Formula One, let's take a minute. This man drives me insane. Is it a podcast about business, or is it a therapy session with morons trying to sling their next book, or their podcast where they talk to morons trying to sell their crap products to the travelling salesmen and recruitment executives that listen to this drivel? They banned an advert for his Huel health slop last year because he was doing promos without making clear that he owned part of it. The Huel health slop that last month was found to have high levels of lead in it. Look at the smug bastard. I've built $1 billion business. No, you didn't. You built $1 million one that someone else turned into a $600 million business. Does no one have to give receipts anymore for this sort of stuff? Does no one have to back anything up that they say? Or do we look at it, take it at face value and scroll on by? Can I go, oh, I've made a $1 billion podcast, show no receipts, and then go on Diary of a Grifter Tit, hosted by rocket-powered Bartlett, and start talking about something I'm wildly unqualified to talk about? Anyway, John Elkann is the CEO, which kind of means that he's qualified to comment on Ferrari's performance. He's the CEO, for God's sake. He is the grandson of Gianni Agnelli, one of the baddest motherfuckers in Italy. Playboy, businessman, he owned 25% of all companies quoted on the Italian stock exchange, and he privately owned Juventus Football Club and Fiat, and Lancia, and Alfa Romeo, and Maserati, and Ferrari. He wore a watch over his shirt cuff, because why not? And then when everyone saw this, they did it too. He would go to a hotel in a helicopter, jump out and swim to reception. He served bull testicles to the Prime Minister of Italy because he didn't like him. We're talking yachts, politicians, fast cars, Ferraris, football, espresso, tiramisu, the big leads. John Elkann worked with Agnelli, worked at Fiat, and helped turn it around in the noughties and became chairman at Ferrari and the chairman of Stellantis Group, over 14 brands. So yes, he is qualified to talk about Ferrari. I mean, he's bankrolling this disgrace. So if he wants to come in and have a go at Leclerc, who spends more time advertising stuff than anything else, or Hamilton, who seems like he's just planning a dignified exit at this point, I think he's well allowed to. He said the drivers need to talk less and focus on driving. The comments drew criticisms from fans and pundits alike. Jenson Button said maybe John should lead by example. What? He should talk less and drive more? He's not a driver, Jenson. He's the man watching money leave the business hand over fist and watching Lewis Hamilton at the back crashing into a rookie because he wasn't paying attention. He's the man who has Ferraris to sell, and the Formula One team is disgracing itself. The World Endurance team, they're doing great work. They won overall, but Formula One is a lot more high profile. So if he wants to get his tits out, I think he's allowed to. Yes, the strategy thing ain't great most of the time, but you know, the drivers are the ones actually doing stuff behind the wheel. And it doesn't matter how good your strategy is. The strategy doesn't matter if you rip your front wing off or if you aren't wary of the rookie and get spun round. I mean, maybe it wasn't the most tactful thing to say. And I do think that we have to drop this whole aura of driving for Ferrari is such a privilege and an honour, and you shouldn't question anything because, hey, we were kind enough to let you have a seat in our red car. I think we do need to drop that. But then again, the man who's writing checks for front wings and tyres being ripped off constantly, I think he does have a right to go, hang the fuck on, fellas. What's going on? I mean, I've got a World Endurance team who have just won. They're doing really great work. And then I've got an F1 team that is broadcast all over the world and has a much bigger reach than the WEC, and they're taking the piss. He's paying out all this money, they mess up, then they drop in the championship standings, which has a lot of effect. It's not just about where they appear on a leaderboard. This is money that the team gets as a result of it, and that money often goes to the employees of the team as bonuses, and the staff and the lorry drivers and the guys in the pit crew and all this sort of stuff. And if Lewis Hamilton hasn't put his glasses on before going driving and smashes into the back of Franco Colapinto, that has an effect right down the line. And if that continues, they drop down the standings. That means they get worse and worse sponsors as it goes on because, well, they're not going to be at the front of the grid. Yes, they're Ferrari, which will always keep them relatively up there. But if they drop down the grid, they end up with weird sponsors like 2017 when they had Weichai or whatever that Chinese firm was. So it has a knock-on effect to the whole of Ferrari because Charles Leclerc is too busy picking out engagement rings and not focusing on trying to pull the team up the leaderboard. Anyway, I will see the rest of you on Patreon for the longer one. See you in a minute. If you're not on the Patreon, go and take a look. There's lots of free stuff over there, both chats and content. You can also get my weekly podcast, Mum's Basement, called that because Mum's Basement is the only place where these topics can be discussed. Also, if you're a car guy, then go and check out my second channel, link in description for both.